It's Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This right here is Con Carne. It's a Q101 podcast. I'm James Van Alstyne, and Con Carne, presented by Easy Automation. Safety and security are things that you and I want, need, and expect. What if you could always come home to a well-lighted house knowing that you and everyone inside were safe? Or know that that package you were waiting on, maybe it was a Bollweevils album, Essential, and
Yes.
you want to know that it was delivered and secured. Embrace the future of smart living. Empower your home with intuitive control. Call my guy Dan at Easy. You should be friends with Dan. You'd like him.
I should be friends with him.
Call my guy Dan at Easy Automation for a free, no-hassle quote, 630-730-3728, or visit easy-automation.net. Programming note. This right here is episode 996. Episode 1000 is rapidly approaching. And to put episode 1000 together, I'm hosting a handful of live events, and all the music, interviews, performances from these live events will be compiled into episode 1000, releasing in October. The next event is happening Sunday, October 6th at Siren Records in McHenry. It's an in-store. Ike Riley. Have you seen that documentary yet? Oh my God. Ike Riley will be part of this. White Rabbit Object, also the band Show Off, and Steve Silver doing his spoken word profane thing. That is free, 12 o'clock Sunday the 6th, and then 1 week after that, I'll be recording at Liars Club. It's Josh Caterer who does our theme song. He's also a smoking pope. The Effigies will be joining me for an interview. Also performances from Bellhead and Club Drugs and comedian Kevin Kellum. And then there will be a fourth episode 1000 event. Details coming soon. It's going to happen, though. I'll tell you this much. It'll happen at the Q101 Lounge. So, that all aside, I am at Miskatonic in Naperville. Miskatonic Brewing Company, 47 East Chicago Avenue, Suite 120. Sweet. Naperville, Illinois. Along those lines, that's Mick across from me. He is a brewer here at Miskatonic, and he's plying us, or some of us, with beer. To my right, he is a returning favorite. He's the returning champion. He's the number 2 most appeared guest on Con Carne. He is Dr. Daryl Wilson of the Bollweevils.
Hello.
And right there in the middle, it is Jimmy Costanzo, also a returning guest. We may know him as a guy from Cap Gun Heroes, but also one of the organizers of T1 Fest, which returns to Reggies this year. Great to see you, Jimmy.
Nice to be back. Good to see you.
So we're going to get into T1 Fest. We're going to get into the beer. We should also talk about the food you have here. I mean, I'm smelling delicious food.
I mean, it's all pretty darn good, but I'm biased.
It smells amazing. I want to talk about the beer, but I don't want to bury the lead here. T1 Fest on October 10th, October 11th, October 12th at Reggie's. Reggie's Music Joint on Thursday, the Rock Club, Friday and Saturday. Bollweevils, that band right there on the Friday night bill, along with Guttermouth, Diesel Boy, Take the Reins, and the Iron Spiders. Let's start with type 1 diabetes, also known as juvenile diabetes. It's an You're a doctor. I'm telling you what you already know.
I'm a doctor, yes. You remember that. I've been on the show a lot of times, James. By the way, before we even do that, I have to say the accomplishment of having 1,000 episodes is amazing. And I'm so just proud of you as my friend.
You.
And I just appreciate your style, your panache, everything about you. Your audacity.
You're a treasure.
I just bring it back
says
to
otherwise,
that.
I get them.
Because seriously though, I mean, it is amazing, and you should be congratulated on that. And it is to have that kind of lasting power in this realm is amazing. So thank you, congratulations to you, and we love you for that.
Thank you. I would come back and say, well, no, it's just stubborn tenacity that kept me doing it all the years. But it is true. I think a lot of people start podcasts and they get to 50 episodes, 100 episodes, and realize, oh my God, I'm putting 3 or 4 hours of work into each episode. I'm getting 30 or 40 listens a week, and I'm not making money. What am I doing?
Right.
And so that's why you see podcasts start up. People get really excited about it. Hey, you got to check out my podcast. Here's what we're doing. And then they just quietly Homer Simpson back into the bushes.
I have 1,000 podcasts running around in my head right now that I'd like to start, and I know I wouldn't make it past probably 2 episodes. So,
when you're ready, we can talk about that.
Okay, well, we'll see.
All right, type 1 diabetes, also known as juvenile diabetes, is an autoimmune disorder where a person's white blood cells attack and kill off their pancreas. When this happens, the pancreas can no longer produce insulin and is unable to create insulin to break down foods and carbs. When this happens, blood sugars tend to be extremely high, causing DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, which is potentially life-threatening and can lead to diabetic coma or death. In short, it's bad news. Jimmy, talk about why you have an event dedicated to fighting type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, so we started T1 Fest now 5 years ago. This is going to be our fifth event. And the reason we started it is our co-founder, Joe, who's not here, his son was diagnosed at the age of 3 years old. We had no idea of what the disease entailed. And we were just trying to find a way to help. We went through the motions. We did, put on a golf outing. We were thinking of other ways, and it really didn't fit our personality. So we wanted to try to figure out a way with something that we loved, being able to, raise awareness and raise money. So we started the first T1 Fest in 2019 to, honestly a great surprise for us with the amount of support we got. And we're really excited to continue to do it because it really is an important cause. I mean, what we're trying to really create awareness for and help is that with medicine there's been a lot of great advances, so people are able to live with type 1 diabetes, but it is very expensive. It's very underinsured, and we just want to do our part to make it, because there should never be a child that doesn't have the medicine or the means to battle an autoimmune disease that they had no choice in getting. It's not like, again, type 2 is a very serious illness as well, but a lot of times in that case, a lot of people, maybe it's lifestyle choices why that they have that. Type 1, you don't have a choice. It just eventually develops at one point, and unfortunately your pancreas is not producing the insulin. So we just want to do our part to create awareness, and we've been very fortunate to have some great events. So we're looking forward to this year.
This is a rare opportunity when I have Daryl on the podcast where he serves as both punk rock guy and physician. Daryl, I'm sure you've encountered patients with type 1 diabetes throughout your career.
Oh, yeah, just throughout the career. I mean, one of those things that is, just devastating for individuals sometimes is the initial diagnosis, because sometimes it's found and it is in a young kid. They've gotten another illness that then, of course, they now have that kind of straw that breaks the camel's back. The pancreas is no longer producing insulin, and they come in, their blood sugar is like 600. They're in DKA, and they're almost comatose. So, I mean, these are things that we've seen that presentation before, and, to suddenly change that person's life from that point on, and parents don't have that, in their mind. They have their young kid, they're just seeing them, develop and go on, and they're expecting their kid to do whatever they're going to do in life, which they can, but now they're dealing with this new disease process that is, truly causing a tectonic change in how their lifestyle is going to go from then on. And as Jimmy points out, with anything in medicine, you're looking at cost and what that is for the average person out there, and it's not something that we should ever really be thinking about as human beings, that suddenly we're making it almost unattainable for individuals to care for their disease process. That is completely and utterly unacceptable, no matter what. You can't spin that any way to say, why would you want to spend money on this? Because it's for a person's life. You're totally pro-life, but you're not pro-medicine, you're not pro-healthcare? Come on, let's not pretend for 2 seconds. That's total newspeak, crazy 1984 shit. So, if you want to keep living in your Orwellian place where 2 + 2 = 5, go ahead and do that. But we like to live in reality and realize that we as human beings are meant to care for other people, and let's try and do something for them. And to put together events like this is an amazing thing. You may not like punk rock, right? But you like kids, and you may not like kids, may like punk rock. You might like both of them. So come to the show, support. It's going to be fun regardless. So yeah, to encounter people who have any disease process, and suddenly we have to do GoFundMes or do shows like this. I wish we lived in a world where that didn't have to happen, but we still do.
Jimmy, since starting this 5 years ago, have you just found kindred spirits coming out of the woodwork? People I'm sure you've had a lot of community outreach and connection as a result of this.
Yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate. We live in a really great city, and since we started this, we've had a lot of great support. I mean, a lot of bands have been, willing to play the fest. I mean, when we first started this, Chicago's a top 3 market for music. So for bands to make a decision to come here and play our fest, it's taken them out of market for 6 months. So we know in some cases those bands have said, okay, you know what, we're going to take a little less money to come play your event. And we've greatly appreciated that. But, there's a lot of good people, too, that, are not here that have helped us along the way. Because, again, when you're first starting this, if you don't have any experience, there's, and rightfully so, a lot of the booking agents, a lot of the club owners, a lot of the bands are a little leery because, unfortunately, a lot of them, they deal with stuff where a bad promoter puts on an event and they don't get paid. A lot of problems, right? And this is their livelihood. So we've had people from day one, Toby Jag, Jonathan Knight, Kitty Hovland, who, we introduced what we were doing with the event, and they jumped in and helped us and kind of guided us along the way and said, hey, let us help you book some bands, let us help you learn how to market the event and do all the things. And here we are 5 years later. I mean, honestly, after the first one, I didn't know if there'd be a second one, and then COVID came and we really didn't know what was going on. We did the live stream, but it wasn't the same. And then
but it was still awesome. I hosted that one.
Oh, it was great. It was probably the best one, just because of the MC.
The host is definitely makes it happen. The host is the most.
But we, we took 21 off to really kind of get our bearings and, make sure it was the right thing to do to bring people back together in a safe environment. And since then, I mean, we, 22 was great. 23 was awesome. The first time the Bollweevils were able to make the play on that day, along with the Methanones and a bunch of other bands. We had some great reunion sets. And this year we're bringing some bands back to Chicago for the first time in quite a while. So we're excited to continue doing it and seeing where we can go with it.
All right, I want to get into the lineup. I also want to talk about the beer. Again, we're at Miskatonic. We're just going to bounce around here. I kind of love cross-pollinating brew pub owners and restaurateurs and bands. This is what I enjoy most about doing this podcast.
It's all like a DIY thing, right? I mean, everything is...
The hustle's the same.
The hustle's the same.
Like the specifics are different, but the hustle is the same with independent restaurant owners, independent breweries, and independent artists.
I've never gotten the hustle right for music, though. I just don't know why I haven't gotten that right. The medicine hustle's been going okay, but
you got that.
That's going okay.
You got that locked down.
I got that locked down.
So Miskatonic Brewing Company, again, 47 East Chicago, Suite 120 in Naperville, right at the intersection of Chicago and another street. What street?
Washington.
Thank you.
Washington.
Yeah, you're good. Just past the construction.
Yeah, that can't go away quickly enough.
Right.
So what am I drinking here? This is the Chillin of the Corn?
Chillin of the Corn, our collab with North Aurora's very own Brother Chimp Brewing. That is our corn lager with 2 different strains of heritage corn from Sugar Creek Malting, maltster from Indiana. And it's
this is so Midwestern.
Oh, I know, and you know what? I gained 15 pounds just looking at it, even though it's light and delightful.
It's light. It's a 4.8% ABV. It's delicious. What are you drinking?
I am drinking the West Coast Wiccan. It is our pale ale offering, a variation on our flagship beer, the West Coast Wizard, which may or may not be a certain IPA at a certain Chibugga place.
What's Jimmy drinking?
Jimmy's drinking also the West Coast Wiccan.
What's the verdict, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, this place, I mean, the reputation, people love the beer here, so congratulations on what you're doing.
Hey, I'm happy to do the good work.
How often are you rotating beers in and out of the taps here?
We try to come up with a new beer once every couple weeks, so
That sounds like an aggressive schedule.
Well, I mean, the ales come and go. Like we're drinking West Coast Wiccan. It's not going to last super long, but we've got lagers in the tanks. I'm brewing another lager tomorrow. Lagers just take longer to brew. So
and I'm going to ask you the question I ask every brewer.
Yeah.
I hear over and over again, lagers are the most challenging, not the most challenging, but they're the beers that other brewers judge breweries on.
I think yes, I agree. I agree 100% with that because you can't hide behind any special effects or gimmicks.
You can't sour it up. You can't throw more hops at it.
This one's chocolate. We can't do any of that. It's literally, it's naked is what it is. It's basically how do you handle the malts that aren't so bold, and you handle the water chemistry, how you handle the mash, all the decoctions, all this biochemistry stuff that, frankly, I learned like a squirrel on water skis.
Well, I mean, craft brewing, I mean, it seems to me to be equal parts art and science. There is
it
math.
It really does. Yeah, there is absolutely very much a lot of that component.
But you can throw your creativity into it, too.
You can. You absolutely can. But you can't do it without knowing the convections. You can... It's a give and a take. Some allow you much more license to just go crazy. But lagers, you got to know your stuff. And I'm grateful that my head brewer is so serious about lagers. Shout out to Corey Davidson.
Corey.
He's the mastermind behind all the recipes. And then, and I'm just the middleman, but Brianna, she's our packaging brewer. And so she makes sure that this beer is perfect when you get it in the glass and in the can.
And it is. It's delicious. Now,
I'm just their caveman who boils the liquids and puts them into tanks, and happy to represent.
doing a fine job, Mik.
I appreciate it.
Now, Daryl, you're in the general area, like like say you're within like 45 minutes of here.
I'm very close, 45 minutes at least.
Are you familiar with? Were you familiar before walking in today?
I actually had a sampling of their beer at a recent foundation event on the golf course, in fact.
That is so fancy.
It was quite an event. I was, of course, the least fanciest person there. But I did have the sampling of their beer while I was out playing golf one time. Yes, I actually play golf sometimes. Jimmy's asked me to play golf a couple of times. But anybody out there listening and who's ever played golf with me realizes I don't really play golf. I mess around
I could see
with
that.
golf. And I go out there fully understanding that I should not be here at this time. But because I'm stubborn...
What?
Because I'm stubborn, I continue to go out and try and do those things on the rare occasion. Because sometimes you hit this one shot that brings you back. Now, I used to do shots... And it made me think I was shooting very well on the golf course. But since I stopped doing that, I realized this was a waste of my time entirely. But I did sample the beer while at a foundation event, actually. And it was very tasty. And I have my little coin that I got, which I have not used yet. So I'm going to bring it back and come in and get something when I come back. You know? See, I like this. See, this is how you make, this is how golf works for me. I go to places I can get, hooked up. Isn't that what the golf is about? You're supposed to go out and just make deals on the golf course?
That's old school, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I do.
Smoke a cigar.
I'm making deals.
Develop your pipeline, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm just making deals. You see, you just wait. I'm making deals.
I know you are. All right, so Jimmy, these 3 nights, I mean, I know how hard it is to book an event, one event. Booking 3 nights, like, couldn't you have just done one? Like, this seems exhausting, just looking at what you pulled off here.
I mean, it is. I mean, I think, but you want to always keep growing and building upon. I mean, we first started, it was kind of a night and a half, right? We did a first night that was in a smaller part of the venue, 2 bands, and then we had a full slate the next day. But I think we always want to grow and build it to be the best fest that we can make it. But yeah,
who went shirtless that night? Was that the Lillingtons of that first one?
Yeah, that was. And it was a great set. I mean, we had no clue that was going to kind of be the last show. So
yeah.
Now I really appreciate the fact that they ran over the set by like 20 minutes, and I had to talk Josh down off the wall because he was like, "I'm off the stage." I'm like, "Don't worry, we'll be good." But we want to keep making it better, and I mean, it can be difficult, especially in this market, and you have we have a wonderful fest here in Riot Fest, who puts on a great event every year. But they do get a lot of bands, so you have to learn to kind of work around their schedule, and so it can be challenging. But
in the punk rock universe, they kind of squeeze you out of a lot of artists, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you got to learn to stay in your lane and kind of learn to maneuver around it. But I think we've gotten there. Just this year was a little bit more difficult than we hoped for after last year. I mean, we already have most of next year already booked, so that's going to make things easier. Because we're learning as we go too, right? So we're learning how to kind of plan things a lot earlier and become more efficient in what we're doing. And we have Katie cracking the whip on us, telling us, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" So
Katie Hovland.
Yeah, she's the best, and we drive her nuts because we'll drop stuff on her last minute, and she just I could feel her strangling me through the phone. But she's great, and so we're looking forward to building upon it. But it's challenging at first, and there's days you just want to throw your hands up in the air. But then as we get closer to the event and we see the lineups we put together, and you get so excited to be at the event that you forget about all that. And our drummer did a great favor, because usually we play, but he fell down and broke his arm, so we're not playing this year. So I guess he did everybody a favor. They don't have to listen to us this year.
But I mean, the big thing too, Jimmy, is the purpose of the whole thing is always going to keep you driven, right? I mean, that's the thing. The bottom line is it's for such a great cause that in itself is always going to be that fuel that's going to push forward no matter what. And I think what you're doing is amazing, and it is. People look forward to it, right? And like I said, people are going to go for the reasons that they have, for the bands, for the cause, for the combination of those things, and that is something in itself that perpetually builds and keeps on going.
For
so
sure.
Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you, and that's some of the things that we noticed last year, where from the first couple years it was a lot of local people. We started noticing last year that people were now traveling in from other states around the Midwest, but we had people in from Florida. Last year we had people in from Europe that came specifically for T1 Fest. Now, I thought that was quite the price to pay for the event, but they really liked what we did and the lineup we put together, and they came all the way over to support us. So, having people coming to support us from all over, it keeps driving us to do it too. So we're excited to see where we can take it.
Okay, I want to get into the lineups. Again, we're at Miskatonic in Naperville. Founded in 2015 in Darien. There was Josh and John who did that, and then it spread here to Naperville.
Correct. Yes. This is a recent infection.
Food-wise, lots of great stuff. House-made sausages. Who doesn't like a house-made sausage? You don't, because you're vegetarian.
Well, they have a vegetarian sausage,
We
though.
accommodate.
Yes.
So this place accommodates all comers.
And the menu, salads, the anti-sausage. They have small plates, eggplant chorizo.
So good.
The
As a meat eater myself.
The Dutch war fries, Belgian-style frites, Indonesian peanut sauce, garlic mayo, and white onion.
You know we're getting those, right?
Oh, my God.
You know we're getting those, right?
I do. Wow.
Believe me, I'm fighting every urge to not just bust the table and make sure everybody's getting their bevies. But
how about these for desserts? Imperial stout panna cotta
There's another one.
and peach corn cake.
I know.
That
Dude.
sounds amazing.
it's important that we take care of everybody.
So what happens if I'm on this show with this guy?
It's live. That's what they pay for.
There's
Get the
always
Blu-ray.
eating issues that occur.
So it's true. I don't know if we talked about this in the past, but the first time I interviewed Daryl solo on this podcast, we went to Johnny's in Elmwood Park, and we probably had beef and sausage combos.
We did.
Did the interview, ate. By the way, that is, of all the places I've eaten, that is the worst place to do a podcast at because it's the messiest by far. That is.
It was pretty messy.
Au jus, and I've done it multiple times, like au jus running down my forearms. We finished the podcast and we're like, should we go for another round? We went 2 rounds at
Yes.
Johnny's.
Yes.
Two Johnny's sandwiches. And I said, Daryl, is this okay? You're a doctor. Can I do this? He's like, yes. If you just do this tonight, it's fine.
I would do that every night, though, if we could, actually. That's the problem. Because they're so...
I know.
I was just having this conversation just 2 days ago regarding Johnny's. Seriously, I mean, I don't eat meat much anymore at all, but I would have a combo sandwich from Johnny's in a heartbeat.
And
my heart might stop beating,
Yes,
but
exactly
I would do
right.
that in a heartbeat.
All right, let's talk lineups. T1 Fest, again, the 10th through the 12th of October. Rocktober, if you prefer.
Rocktober.
On the 10th, it is at Reggie's Music Joint. It's the Jasons, the Reaganomics, the Repellents, Sex Dream, and Nifty Skullet. On the 11th, I mentioned that. It is the world-famous Bollweevils, Diesel Boy, Guttermouth, Take the Reins, and the Iron Spiders. Iron Spiders featuring T1 Fest alum Mr. Precision, Dan Precision. And on Saturday the 12th, Sludgeworth, Go Betty Go, Kepi Gooley, fully electric, the Eradicator. This sounds like a superhero lineup. The Eradicator, Jeff Palmer, Space Age Zeros, and Violets. Violets are amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
But don't forget, whatever's playing from Ohio,
Yep.
And then also Goodbye Sunshine, right? It's
Yep.
playing as well too.
Okay, I missed those.
It's gonna be crazy. I mean, whatever used to be on Doctor Strange with us back in the day, and they have a new record coming out. It's like that's gonna be crazy. They haven't played Chicago. They played a little bit ago, but they're coming back. That's gonna be insane.
Well, and the fun thing about an event like T1 Fest is discovery.
Yes.
Yeah, like I know the Bollweevils, but maybe I don't know all the other bands, and that you walk away a fan. I mean, I think about that virtual night we did back in 2020. Like that was my first exposure to Haley and the Crushers. I'm still listening to them.
Yeah.
Like
Great band.
It's fun getting turned on to music.
And that's one thing we're trying to do too. Is I mean, obviously being a smaller festival, we want to try to make it a point to bring on some bands that maybe aren't going to get booked on some of the bigger festivals and or newer bands. And that's really what kind of growing up in this scene was all about. I mean, we had a place in the Fireside Bowl where you had to start off maybe playing on a Tuesday at 5:00, but
That was back when you wouldn't talk to me.
Well, you're right. I was a jerk back then.
That's not what I'm saying.
I was a jerk back then.
But yeah, we want to try to make it a point to bring on some bands and have some new bands play the festival. And then this year with like Nifty Skull, really good band we've played a few shows with out of Fort Wayne. Obviously, you can tell we're trying to have more of a female presence on the event this year. So you have Sex Dream on there. Obviously, Take the Reins, Violets, Go Betty Go. So we feel really good about where the lineup went this year.
Okay, so if people want to head on over to Reggie's, and they should, next week. Is it next weekend already?
Yeah.
I don't understand anything anymore. Okay, that's next weekend. Where should they go? What's the website to buy tickets?
So they can go to t1fest.com. Tickets are all available for all 3 days. And we got a great 3-day pass going on for $49.99. So you can't beat that.
It's a value at any price, but that really is something.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
But your money goes to a great cause. And that's
it.
the biggest thing. It's like, you know what? Buy tickets, bring your family, bring your friends, just come out and support the cause because it's your money's going to go a long way. You're going to get entertained that night, hang out with great people for a great cause. And that's what it's all about.
It really is. All right, Mick, so we're here at Miskatonic. Any final thoughts about what makes this place awesome?
I think it's just a darned. I'm trying not to be, not to cuss, but it's so good here. We've got these homemade sausages. The meats are great. The non-meats are darn delightful. We make great beers. We also accommodate the non-alcoholic drinkers as well. It's a nice little gem in this sweet little corner of my hometown, and I'm just proud to share it with everybody, and I'm really happy to have such delightful guests here tonight.
I love this place, and we're here beginning of October. Beautiful night out. Front windows are open. People are just hanging out. It's just a cool vibe and plenty of space. Food is great. We'll find out soon. Beer is great. I love coming here. So
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks for setting everything up.
Thank you for having out. Really,
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No problem.
great.
Pleasure.
All right, Dr. Daryl Wilson of the Bollweevils, the most recent Bollweevils release, full-length release, is Essential.
Essential. Yes.
Which is amazing. Jimmy, T1 Fest. I guess we should probably talk about, even though they're not playing, what's going on with Capgun Heroes?
Yeah, so we've actually been busy. It's been kind of a crazy year. We got a new drummer, so we've been working on a lot of new material. So we're going to have a new EP coming out in March, and a new record will follow in the summer. So
new EP, will that be like 20 songs?
no, it's going to be it'll be a 5-song EP, and then follow up with a full record. So we've been working on a lot of songs, just finding the time to actually record everything. It's been really crazy with work for everyone. So
I'm sure. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We're here on a Tuesday night.
Yes.
Tuesday night, yeah.
On a school night, so thanks for doing that.
Oh, happy to.
thanks for having us.
Let's get everybody beverages.